I never imagined I'd wake up in an alien body. But here I was, staring at a reflection that wasn't mine, a creature with iridescent skin, 4 eyes, and limbs that bent in unfamiliar ways. My name's Max Callahan, and up until this morning, I was just your average human, navigating the daily grind. But today, thanks to the Intergalactic Cultural Exchange Program, I was inhabiting the body of Zyklar, an Ootarian diplomat. Max? A voice chirped, startling me. I turned to see another alien, shorter, with scales shimmering like a holographic card. It was Nara, my guide. Are you ready for your day as an Ootarian? Ready as I'll ever be, I replied, my voice emerging in a series of clicks and whistles. Nara chuckled, a sound like wind chimes, and gestured for me to follow. As I stumbled behind Nara, trying to adjust to my new form, I couldn't help but think about Zyklar. Somewhere on Earth, he was probably staring into my bathroom mirror, grappling with the realization that he'd need to shave for the first time. I smirked at the thought, imagining the confusion and curiosity that must have been plastered on his alien face. Nara led me to a grand hall filled with Ootarians of varying shapes and colors. Today, you'll attend a council meeting, and later, a reception with the Garthraxians. Council meeting, got it, I said, trying to mimic Zyklar's confident stride. The hall was a marvel of architecture, with towering columns and walls adorned with intricate murals depicting Ootarian history. I took a moment to appreciate the grandeur before entering the council chamber. As the meeting commenced, I quickly realized that diplomacy wasn't just about fancy speeches. The council discussed trade agreements, security protocols, and environmental concerns, topics that required an understanding far beyond my grasp. The Ootarian language, with its complex syntax and subtle nuances, made following the discussions even more challenging. Ambassador Zyklar, your thoughts? One of the council members prompted. I cleared my throat, or at least attempted to, producing a series of odd clicks. I believe we should consider the long-term benefits over short-term gains? I ventured, hoping my generic response would suffice. The room fell silent. Then, to my relief, the council members nodded in agreement. Wise words, as always, Zyklar, the head of the council, said. I exhaled, realizing I'd just navigated my first diplomatic hurdle. Little did I know the day was far from over. As the meeting progressed, I made mental notes of the key players and their interests, trying to keep up with the rapid exchanges and complex negotiations. Back on Earth, Zyklar was having his own set of challenges. Navigating human society was evidently more complex than he'd anticipated. He found himself bewildered by everyday objects and customs, from the coffee machine in the office break room to the concept of small talk. Max, you're acting weird today, my coworker Jenna remarked, as Zyklar attempted to use a stapler upside down. Apologies, Jenna. I am simply adapting, Zyklar replied, his formal tone raising eyebrows. Jenna exchanged puzzled glances with our colleagues, all of whom were equally baffled by Max's sudden change in demeanor. Lunch break was an adventure in itself. Zyklar, unfamiliar with Earth cuisine, ordered a hot dog with a perplexing array of toppings. He studied it like a scientist analyzing an alien specimen before taking a hesitant bite. His eyes widened in surprise, and a smile spread across his face. Delightful, he exclaimed, much to the amusement of those around him. By the time the workday ended, Zyklar had managed to avoid any significant missteps, though his colleagues were convinced Max was either sleep-deprived or pulling an elaborate prank. The walk home provided Zyklar with more opportunities to marvel at human architecture, technology, and social interactions, all of which he meticulously documented in his mind for future reports. Back on Ootarea, I was preparing for the reception. Nara helped me into a ceremonial robe, its fabric shimmering under the lights. Just remember, Ootarians value sincerity and wit, she advised. The reception hall was a spectacle of colors and sounds, with Garthraxians, tall, willowy beings with bioluminescent skin, mingling with Ootarians. I took a deep breath and approached a group, determined to make small talk. The ambiance was both exhilarating and intimidating, as diplomats and dignitaries engaged in animated conversations. Ambassador Zyklar, a pleasure to see you, a Garthraxian diplomat greeted. Likewise, I replied, adopting a posture of grace. Tell me, how do you find our planet? It is intriguing, the diplomat said, their bioluminescence flickering with amusement. I must admit, your customs are quite fascinating. I nodded, trying to maintain the conversational flow. Indeed. And how do you handle the challenges of interplanetary relations? The diplomat smiled, their skin glowing brighter. With patience and understanding. Much like navigating an asteroid field, one must be careful and deliberate. I smiled, realizing I was getting the hang of this. The evening continued with laughter, shared stories, and an unexpected but delightful musical performance by an Ootarian band. By the end of the night, I felt a surprising sense of accomplishment. I even engaged in a debate about the merits of various energy sources, earning nods of approval from both Ootarians and Garthraxians. The next morning, I woke up back in my own body. The exchange was over, but the memories lingered. I met Zyklar in the designated debriefing room, both of us eager to share our experiences. Max, I must commend you, Zyklar began. Your performance as an Ootarian diplomat was commendable. Thanks, Zyklar. I have to say, being an alien was an eye-opener. Your world is fascinating. And Earth is equally intriguing, Zyklar said, a hint of a smile on his lips. I particularly enjoyed your food. Hot dogs, I believe they are called. I laughed, the sound echoing in the room. Yeah, hot dogs are pretty popular here. So what's next? Zyklar's expression turned thoughtful. We continue to learn from each other. This experience has shown me that, despite our differences, we share a common thread of curiosity and resilience. As we discussed our experiences, I realized how much I had grown from the exchange. I shared anecdotes about the council meeting and reception, while Zyklar recounted his adventures in the human world with a mix of amusement and awe. Over the next few weeks, Zyklar and I stayed in touch. Our experiences had forged an unexpected bond. We exchanged stories, cultural insights, and even recipes. Zyklar's attempt at making a hot dog using Ootarian ingredients was both amusing and surprisingly successful. I, in turn, tried replicating some Ootarian dishes, much to the bewilderment of my friends. One day, I received a message from Zyklar. Max, I've been invited to speak at an intergalactic summit on cultural exchange. I would be honored if you would join me as my guest. The summit was held on a neutral planet, a breathtaking amalgamation of various ecosystems. Representatives from countless species gathered to discuss, debate, and celebrate their diversity. The venue was a marvel of interstellar architecture, with floating platforms, bioluminescent flora, and holographic displays that narrated the history of the participating civilizations. During the summit, Zyklar and I shared our story. The audience listened intently as we recounted our adventures and the lessons we'd learned. When we finished, the applause was overwhelming. It was a moment of pride and validation for both of us. An ambassador from a distant star system approached us afterward. Your story is a testament to the power of understanding and cooperation. It gives me hope for our future. Zyklar and I spent the rest of the summit engaging with delegates from across the galaxy, learning about their cultures and sharing our own. The experience was enriching, and we left the summit with a renewed sense of purpose. As we left the summit, I turned to Zyklar. This isn't the end, is it? Zyklar shook his head, his eyes twinkling with amusement. No, Max. This is just the beginning. We stood there, two beings from different worlds, united by a shared experience that had forever changed us. The universe was vast and filled with endless possibilities. And together, we were ready to explore them. Our friendship had become a bridge between our worlds, a testament to the potential for unity in diversity. In the grand tapestry of the cosmos, it's the threads of curiosity, resilience, and friendship that bind us together. Whether human or alien, we all seek to understand, to connect, and to find our place in the universe. And sometimes, the most unexpected journeys lead to the most profound discoveries.